Good morning, students. Today we will do the last topic of the chapter, that is flower. In this topic, we will discuss about various outer parts of the flower and inner part of the flower. So, here in this topic, flower, first we will discuss about that with the help of flower we are easily able to recognize the plant. So here in figure 7.19 you are able to see the three diagrams, that is in the first diagram A of 7.19 a leafless branch is given, whereas in the B diagram they have given a branch with leaves, and in the C diagram a branch with leaves as well as flowers. You are able to see the flowers along with the leaves. So among these three diagrams, which will help you best to recognize the plant of which this branch belongs to? Now we are easily able to recognize by seeing the flower, that is they are flower of roses. So we can easily recognize that this is the branch of a rose plant. Now students, the flower is one of the most attractive and colorful part of the plant. But it's not important that all flowers are colorful. In some of the cases, the flowers which grow on grass, wheat, maize, plants or mango or guava tree, they are not brightly colored and their color is white. So here we can say that the flowers are not only colorful but they are white in color also. Now we will study or we will discuss about the outer parts of the plant. For this we require one bud and two flowers, and you can take any of the following flowers. You can take from a dhatura plant, or you can take a flower of China rose, mustard flower, brinjal plant flower, ladyfinger or gulmohar. You can take anyone among these. So first we will study the outer parts of the, or you can say the prominent parts of the open flower. The two main parts among these you can see in figure 7.20. The A is showing the bud and the B is showing the flower. So in the first bud you can see the small leaf-like structures. You are able to see these small leaf-like structures. They are present outer part of the bud, and these are called sepals. Inside these sepals, the leaves, they are in the, or sorry, not leaves, the petals of the flower, they are enclosed inside the sepals and forming a bud. So the pink color portion, you can see these are the petals which are closer to each other in a bud. So different flowers have different color petals. here in the rose plant flower, you can see rose flower are of many colors. Here you can see in this diagram it is of pink color, it is white, is also white in color, red, yellow, black. In so many colors you are able to find out the rose flower. So the first and foremost important outer part of the flower are the colorful petals. Here you can see the petals in the second diagram of 7.20, that is the rose flower petals. They are pink and very beautiful in color, attractive. So now the other prominent part I have already told you for a flower, that is sepals, and this part, that is sepal, is made up of small leaf-like structures. So we call it as sepals. Now two important parts we have discussed for a flower, that is petals and sepals. You can easily see. For different flowers, different number of sepals are there. In some of the cases, the sepals are joined together, and in some of the cases of different flowers of different plants, the sepals are joined together. So you can find in different flowers they can be joined, sepal, and they can be separate also. In the same way, the petals, it is not necessary that flowers with joint sepals have petals and that they are separate, or they can be joined together. So we can say any kind of case can be there with joint sepals. The petals can be separate also, so anything can be there. Now if we want to discuss about, or we want to see the inner parts of the flower clearly, then we have to cut it open to see the inner parts, and especially in that case if its petals are joined. But if petals are separated, as we have seen in the case of a rose flower, we need not to cut it, just we will pluck out the petals from all the four sides. Then we are able to see the inner parts of the flower. Now if we have the petals joined, for example in a case of a dhatura plant flower, or you can say any other example, bell-shaped flowers. So the petals, they have to be cut lengthwise so that we can easily see the inner parts of the flower clearly. So after removing the sepals and then the petals, we can easily see the inner parts of the flower. We are able to see the first inner part, that is you are able to see in figure 7.22. the parts of a flower are shown here. The first one, you are able to see the cream color structures, they are called the stamens. The magnified view you can see in the figure 7.23, two important parts of a stamen. The tip of the stamen is covered with a crown-like structure that is called anther, and it is supported by a cord-like structure that is called the filament. So two important parts of a stamen, that is anther and filament. So the first inner important part is stamen. You are easily able to see near about in the figure 7.22. You are able to see near about 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, near about 4 stamens you are able to see. They are of the cream color. Now if we come to the yellow color portion, they I have already told you, in a shape of a crown on the tip of the stamen, they are yellow in color. Now if we come to the another inner important part of the plant, that is the pistil. It is surrounded by the stamens and generally it is green in color. So here at the center of the flower, just surrounded by the stamens, you are able to see the pistil that is in green in color. If we are able to study this innermost part of the flower, that is called the pistil, you can see in the diagram 7.24 the various parts of the pistil. The tip, the topmost tip is called the stigma, the first one, and a tube like structure which is attached to the stigma is called the style, and you can say the lowermost part, and it is the swollen part of the pistil, that is called the ovary. So it is one of the most important part of a pistil, or you can say the inner part of the flower. Pistil is one of the most important structure, that is called the ovary, and it is the lowermost and swollen part of the pistil. Now it's very important to study that what is present inside the ovary. We have to study the internal structure of the ovary. So to understand the internal structure, we have to cut the ovary of a flower. And for cutting the ovary of a flower, we have two methods. You are able to see the diagrams in figure 7.25. In the A figure, the diagram is showing that how the ovary is being cut in a longitudinal manner. And in the B diagram, the ovary is being cut in a transversal way. So in both the ways you can cut, and you can easily able to see the inner parts. If you cut the ovary in a longitudinal way, in figure 7.26, you can see the inner structure of the ovary like this, and the small bead-like structures called the ovules you are able to see. And if you cut the ovary in a transversal way, then you are able to see the second the second diagram they are showing the ovules which are present in the ovary. So we are easily able to observe the inner parts of the ovary, and if you want to clearly observe it, you can use a lens for it. So using a lens, we are easily and clearly able to see the inner parts of the ovary, and if we observe them carefully, we will able to see small bead-like structures which are present inside the ovary. And already I have told you, these small bead-like structures, they are called ovules. So these are the important inner parts of the ovary, and these ovary, and finally you can say the ovules, they are responsible for the formation of seed, and that seed is converted into the flower and finally to the fruit. So the reproduction takes place inside the ovary with the help of ovules. That we will study in detail in our higher classes. Now we have seen different flowers have different parts. We have seen sepals, petals, stamens, pistil, the outer parts and the inner parts. So the number of sepals, students, the number of sepals, petals, stamens and pistils, they may be different in different flowers. That means the number is not always same. Some of these parts may even be absent also in a flower. It is not necessary that all these parts which I have already told you may be present in a flower. It may be among these, some may be absent at times also. So this is about the topic flower. Now students, in this chapter we have studied about the important features, functions of leaves, stems and roots. We have studied the structure of different flowers, and so by discussing about the inner and outer parts of the flower, we are easily able to distinguish that which part is responsible for reproduction and where that part we can find in a flower. So this is about the topic flower, and finally your chapter is also completed. Thank you.